Welcome to Lamination. That's right, the birthplace of the Regal boat. We're inside the Yacht building to look at both the open mold and infusion process. So come on, let's head on over to look at the boats. Boats are built from the outside in. And so what you have right here is a mold with nothing in it, because the very first thing that's going to get sprayed is the gel coat on the inside of this boat. This particular mold has been cleaned, all the dust has been taken out of it, so that you have no fingerprints that are going to translate into that gel coat. And that's why you actually see it taped off and covered up right now, is so that it stays perfectly clean until they spray that gel coat into it. Let's go look at the next step in the process. So here we are. We've got the gel coat sprayed inside this boat, and we have the skin coat on this boat. All the colors are in the mold on this boat. We don't go and tape and put colors on afterwards, boot stripes. That's all in this process that you're seeing right here. This is all hand done. So you can imagine, I mean, this thing is huge, and this was all made by hand. What's gonna happen next is we're gonna go over and watch how they put all the muscle into this boat, all the fiberglass into the infusion process. The next step in the process, we're gonna go ahead and lay in all the I-core and the coring of the boat, the grid system that makes up the stringers of the boat, the fiberglass, all the triaxial woven roving that goes in, and get this boat ready for the infusion process. Now the infusion process, they're gonna put a bag over the top of everything they've just installed here in the boat, and then they're gonna suck resin through the entire boat. This gives us no air voids in the boat, primary bonds between this grid system and the hull of the boat, and it also gives us a great strength to weight ratio and the perfect mixture of resin to fiberglass. Additionally, because we're taking that extra time to bag this boat, we have less emissions, which means it's better for our environment. Now this was the bottom of the boat. Let's go see how we make the top decks of our boats. I find the top decks really fun to just kind of look at and study, because you can see where the windows are going, you can see where the doors would be inserted, and it's just kind of fun to picture it, but it is the inverse of what's going to be made. So again, it's like a Jell-O mold. The top deck is going to get popped out of this, and all of the seat bases, everything is going to be in there. Really cool to look at. Let's go see what it looks like. So here's the top of a 33 Express that just got popped out of the mold. And again, it was built from the outside in. This gel coat was the very first thing to go in. But once they're done with this, they're gonna grind the rim all the way around the outside of this boat, so that lip is gonna be gone. Your engine compartment, that's gonna get ground out. Those doors, so where they kind of punch those holes so people can see, that is gonna be completely ground out. But look at your interior that's here on the boat. And it is all set up, and it is absolutely perfect, ready for that upholstery that we saw earlier. So after these holes and decks have been popped out and look like this, they head right over here to the grind room. Let's go see what that looks like. So here we are in the grind room. These guys have to grind everything out. They're wearing respirators because fiberglass dust is flying in the air. One of the things they do though, they take these molds, this is for a dash, and they're gonna set it up on the dash, and they know exactly where to drill all of their holes, know exactly where to cut. So these guys in the grind room get it exact and right each time. All right, so we're out of the grind room and we're at the first step of quality check. The guys are actually coming through with some lights right now. They're gonna check the boat for any blemishes, any little repairs that they need to make right now before this deck goes into assembly. One of the things you'll notice too on our decks that's really neat, Regal takes the time to put this little grind line in. The reason why we do that is so when you go and set a screw in, you don't get stress cracks that come up here into your top deck. It's just an extra step that we do to make sure everything is exactly right when it comes out. And so that's the process from infusion to open mold. These decks are coming out and you end up with a beautiful product like this where the color's in the gel coat and it's perfectly smooth. Now the next step would be going off to assembly, and that's everything in our lamination process.